Good morning and welcome to Police Headquarters. My name is Constable Carolyn DeClude, and I'm here today to introduce Superintendent Pauline Gray. She will speak about a joint service investigation into 3 sexual assaults. Superintendent?
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming. My name is Pauline Gray, and I'm the unit commander of our Sex Crimes and Homicide Unit with the Toronto Police Service. Today we are alerting the public, young women most notably, of a sexual assault suspect who has been linked to 3 separate sexual assaults by DNA evidence, the latest occurring 1 month ago in Toronto. The first incident I'll speak to is an assault that occurred on Tuesday, July 28, 2015, at approximately 1 a.m. in the Dufferin Street and Rogers Road area of this city. A 23-year-old woman was approached from behind by a man, dragged into a laneway, and sexually assaulted. A weapon was indicated at this time, but not seen. The male offender is described as brown, mid-20s, 5'5" to 5'6", with a slight beard. At the time of the assault, he was wearing a black baseball cap, a black zippered hooded sweater with white drawstrings, and a black T-shirt and black baggy jeans. A composite sketch was created from this sexual assault, which we have here for you. From this first assault, we gleaned a DNA profile of the offender. The second incident occurred in Collingwood and is being investigated by the Ontario Provincial Police. We have worked and continue to work together on this investigation with their team and have representation from the OPP here today and Detective Inspector Shawn Glassford, the multi-jurisdictional major case manager of this investigation. On January 1st, 2017, at approximately 1:50 a.m., officers from Collingwood OPP detachment responded to a report that a 17-year-old girl was pulled into a vehicle by a male and sexually assaulted. Once again, a weapon was indicated but not seen. There was a markedly more violence in this sexual assault. The assault occurred on Birch Street at 2nd Street in Collingwood. From the investigation that followed, the OPP investigators determined that the man was described as brown, late 20s to early 30s, average build, with a large midsection, thin beard, 5'6" to 5'7", wearing a blue T-shirt, black pants, and a black baseball cap with a white logo. A composite sketch was created from this incident, which we have here for you. It was at this time that the 2 assaults were linked through DNA, and our police services began to work together. The third and final incident happened on Monday, July 15th, 2019. Shortly after 10:25 p.m., a 28-year-old woman had ordered a ride-share vehicle service to pick her up along Lakeshore Boulevard by the exhibition grounds. A vehicle slowed alongside her as she walked along. She got into the vehicle, asking if it was her ride-share, and the driver led her to believe he was, in fact, her driver. The offender then drove her to a parking lot in the area of Jane Street and Eglinton Avenue and sexually assaulted her, making death threats as he did so. The offender drove away from the area at a high rate of speed. The suspect in this third sexual assault is described by the survivor as 25 to 35, brown complexion, approximately 5'7" to 5'9", with a small build and a short beard. The vehicle is described as possibly a gray or silver or black with 4 doors. Investigators believe at this time that during this attack, the man suffered an injury to his eye. So I'm asking that anyone working in a hospital, clinic, doctor's or optometrist's office, or pharmacy that may have encountered someone with a similar description and an injury shortly after July 15th, contact us here. We would like to hear from anyone who may have been around the exhibition grounds the evening of Monday, July 15th, 2019, and may have noticed the suspect or had interactions with him. Individually and as a team, we have reported all 3 of these sexual assaults to the public in news releases and have released these composites before. However, we're renewing our public appeal today as this man is definitely linked to another recent sexual assault, and I believe he's escalating in violence. We are also concerned that given the span of time between these 3 incidents, that there are other sexual assaults committed by this man have gone unreported. We would like anyone who has been the victim to contact police. Now, before I take questions, I want everyone to keep in mind these things. His description: he's 25 to 35 years old. He has brown skin. He's approximately 5'5" to 5'9" with a small build and a short beard. He has sustained, we believe, an injury to one of his eyes during this last attack on July 15th and may have had visible bruising, cuts, or an other injury, and to this may have sought care at an urgent care clinic, hospital, ophthalmologist, or other eye specialist. He would have been in Toronto in July 2015, Collingwood New Year's Eve 2016, going into New Year's Day 2017, and back in Toronto this summer. He will have access to a 4-door, silver gray, high-end vehicle. And the most important detail to remember is that we have his DNA. We have his DNA, and now all we need is his name. So I'm asking the public to give us that name.
Did you have his DNA as far back as 2015?
I'm sorry?
Did you have his DNA as far back as 2015, or is it just in the most recent assault that you got the DNA?
I'm just going to finish. And I'll be right with you. That's fine. So anyone with this information is to contact us, Sex Crimes, in Toronto at 808-7474, the OPP at 888-310-1122.
Yes.
Or remain anonymous, of course, by calling Crime Stoppers from anywhere in Ontario at 1-800-222-TIPS. I'll take your questions.
Okay, so did you have his DNA as far back as 2015, or is that just from the most recent occurrence?
No, we have DNA from all three.
Okay. So what's making it so difficult? I mean, you've had his DNA for 4 years. We're just trying to, what is it, are the challenges presented to police? Why is it so hard?
Well, we have his DNA, but we don't have anything to compare it to. In order to make the DNA to have value for an investigation, the connecting is helping us. That's helping move our investigation along. But unless we have something to compare it to, he's not in the bank. So we have a stranger DNA that we're looking to match.
Have you guys been able to pull any surveillance video, particularly from the most recent one where he pretended to be a ride-share driver, so from the point where she was picked up to the point where she was taken? Have you been able to pull any video?
Currently, we're pulling video and we're reviewing it. As you can well imagine, that area, it was Indie Weekend. Lots of people, lots of video cameras, so we're being very prudent in what we release, just given that we want to make sure that we're on the right track. Of course, this is a public safety notice. Let's keep that in mind. The investigation is in its early stages and we're continuing to move on, but we wanted to make people aware that, that this gentleman, and I use that term loosely, is out there, so to be mindful.
What kind of weapon did he had?
I'm not going to speak to that, actually.
Why are you saying that he's escalating in violence?
Each assault it escalated in his violence, and again, I won't speak to what violence there is, but he is escalating, which is not unheard of in these types of attacks, and so just want people to be mindful.
In the sense, this isn't the first time we've heard about rideshare, people posing as rideshares to instigate assaults. What would you say to young women particularly about this?
Okay, so that's twofold. First of all, the young lady involved in the third offered up. This is the first time he's offered that up. I think that was opportunistic on his part. We think he's predatorial by nature. He is cruising for all intents and purposes, and the fact that he presented himself as a rideshare was opportunistic. I don't believe he's presenting himself as a rideshare in the other two instances or any other time he's making contact with potential victims. So let's not make that the issue. It is the fact that this man is predatorial and he's looking for young women walking on their own, full stop. And what would I say to young women as it pertains to rideshare or as pertains to?
You said public safety.
Right, so rideshare, yesterday I believe that one of our rideshare partners did a press piece on just know your ride. So anybody, young women, anybody getting into a rideshare should do the things we know to do. Check your driver, make sure the driver is the driver on your app, check the license plate, make sure it matches, and most importantly, even when you're in the ride, be cognizant of where you are. You know, I know it's very easy to look down Instagram on your way home, but it's important that you understand where you're going. And if at any time you feel uncomfortable, ask to get out, or if you feel unsafe, call 911.
The latest attack happened, I think the attack happened, you said a parking lot in the Jane and Eglinton area. Was it a plaza? Was it can you give us more information as to that location?
I'm not going to at this time, actually. Again, certain things, of course, only the offender knows and we know, and I'd like to keep it that way. But it's a parking lot in a residential area, if that's helpful.
Okay, are you trying to see if his DNA matches any other sexual assault that have happened
Absolutely.
in Toronto?
Absolutely. And that isn't automatic, so that's something what we're looking to, but we're also, as I spoke to, I believe that there have been probably other victims who haven't reported for our various reasons, but I encourage them to come forward. If they've had any contact with somebody that matches this description, I encourage them to give us a call.
Can you talk about the importance of having DNA in cases like this?
No, it is basically the gift from the investigative gods, right? It is empirical. They cannot, and it's each step along the way leading us to him. Once we do find him, there'll be no getting out from underneath that. But I do want you to remember that he has an injury. That is the one thing I want people to turn their minds to, especially people on the 16th of July, 17th, 18th, in those early days, that he will have had some type of injury to his eye, whether it be a scratch or bruising, or like I said, or he's complained of damage to his eye.
Can we talk to LVP for just a second?
You absolutely can.
Just a second. The microphone, please, sir. Thank you. Can you just describe how concerning this is to you, given that this started apparently in Collingwood 4 years ago, and this guy's still on the loose?
Well, it actually started in Toronto,
Oh, sorry.
2015, and then there's the incident New Year's Eve 2017, or 2016 to 2017. So I guess the biggest question is why Collingwood? You know, we've looked at all kinds of different reasons and part of our investigation. So working together with Toronto, we're trying to figure it all out.
How frustrating is it to have someone who's been on the loose for at least 4 years now attacking a young woman? As police officers, how frustrating is it for you knowing him?
Well, it's very frustrating. It's frustrating for us. It's obviously frustrating for the victims. We want to get this person off the streets.
It's very difficult, for young women to come forward sometimes if they suffered a sexual assault. Can you talk about just how important it is for anyone who might recognize this person or might have been sexually assaulted to your investigation to come forward?
Well, as our chief often speaks to, the community is the other part of our investigations. We can apply all the technology, we can apply all the wonderful investigative techniques and an amazing team that we've had working on this, but we really do need people in the community to not discount, to not think that my piece isn't important. It's always, always important, even if it's not related, right? It's important that they call us. And for women who are hesitant to report, I encourage them to go to yourchoice.to. It's a website that will offer them some guidance, answer some of their questions, and lead them through the process. And again, I'm thinking that this, not only are we looking for other survivors of this gentleman, but I'm looking to somebody who knows him. Somebody saw him coming home. They've noted that he's had some sort of injury to his eye. It's going to be soon after. They might have questioned it at the time. He has, like I said, access to what we believe is a high-end silver or gray or black vehicle, and his description is fairly consistent with all three victims. And so somebody knows him, whether it be a mother, a sister, a daughter, a girlfriend has seen this injury, and I know it's sticking in their brain. It's important for them to just call us. Crime Stoppers, if they don't feel like they need to speak to us, if they want to speak just directly.
Sorry, what is the injury?
We don't know what the injury is. It could have been bleeding. I don't know that. We just know that he will, in all likelihood, have an injury to one of his eyes.
Like his eye or around his eye? You know what I mean?
Could be.
Like his retina? Was that you don't know?
Don't know, but that is, and again, it will make itself, it will be filed in somebody's brain and they're not sure why, I guarantee you. And this is our key. This is our key to getting him. But this is where we speak to community. We can't know that, but they do. Somebody out there does know that, and we're imploring that they give us a call.
In the two attacks that involved vehicles, was it the silver high-end car in both of them? Or is there only that description in the latest one?
I'm not going to speak to how we've come to the belief that that's what it is, but the consistency is the color, and we believe it's a high-end vehicle.
It's possible that somebody watching this today, seeing this today, will see the composites, hear the descriptions, and recognize this person as someone they work with, family, friend, whatever. What do you say to people who see it, maybe are stunned by that and are maybe shocked by that, but should step forward?
I think that's a reasonable reaction because of the nature of this crime. But I want them to understand that people who perpetrate this do not do it openly, right? It's not something they telegraph. It's not something they document. It's not something that they tell their best friend. So it's perfectly normal to be shocked, to wonder how I didn't know. But I implore upon them that not discount it. Don't think not him. Don't think not him, because we know historically, we don't have to go very far back. We can go as far back to 1995, and the boy next door, right, ended up being one of our most horrific sexual assaulters. So it can be anybody. It can be your next door neighbor. It can unfortunately be your son. It can be your boyfriend, but it's somebody. And I also, like I said, turn your mind to those people who work in offices, ophthalmologist offices, urgent care clinics, somebody who's an intake worker at one of these places and remembers him coming in those early days to seek some sort of care for his eye or some sort of injury.
Are you sure this man will strike again if he isn't caught?
Well, I don't know that. I don't know. I'm going to tell you as a investigator. I hope that he doesn't, but we all know, again, these things follow patterns. He's following pattern. I'm not sure why this space in between them. That's part of the investigation as well. But yeah, I suspect he will. Our goal, all of us here, is to make sure that he doesn't. And I ask the community to participate in that. Participate in getting this guy off the street before he attacks another woman walking home. Okay? Great. Thanks very much, guys.
That concludes today's conference. Thank you for attending. We do have copies of our post-news release over here, so come and see me and I'll give you a copy.